I love it.
And not having to keep getting up and running over here.
That's right.
Yes.
Shout out to technology.
Right.
I'm a
There
fan.
we go.
I'm a fan of technology.
If you're not a fan of technology, bro, you just I don't know what's going on with you.
I mean, yeah, we got to get with the times.
That's right. That's
Always.
right.
What up, everybody?
Hey, we here. StreamSpace. We got a very special guest. You want to say your name or you want me to say it?
I can introduce myself.
Okay. I got
can do
this.
it. My name is Camille Genise, and I'm so excited to be here with y'all.
Thank you for coming, spending some time with us.
Let's go.
Of course.
Yeah. We had the pleasure of working with Camille at the Tastemakers after party here a couple weeks ago now. And it was a good time. It was a very good time. Shout out to Tastemakers. Shout out to Futureland. That whole weekend was putting some exposure on Cleveland.
Yeah.
For the second year
sure.
in a row.
Yes.
Shout out to year 2.
Year 2.
You know,
absolutely.
Yeah,
that's an amazing event.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was cool. I mean, a lot of work went into it. Excuse me. But I mean, just to see the city, the people highlighted, the energy around Cleveland, it was phenomenal. So I'm just thankful that I could take part.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
Yeah,
And the after party that we had, that whole event was very good. I mean, it was an amazing night.
Yeah.
Like I think the venue, the location, and the House of Blues was very nice. It was an aesthetic that was just perfect. The artist that was performing, shout out to Corey Grant. I mean, it was just a good night.
It was
a good
curated to
night.
perfection. And y'all came through with the artist selections. Like, I already knew. Like, if we have an artist, it's y'all to make it happen. So
Man.
We like to curate.
yes,
Yeah, that's one of our
yes.
that's our bread and butter. That's what we love to do.
Well, we're going to jump right in because we definitely want to pick your brain in terms of entrepreneurship, tech. We know you do a ton in the beauty space. Want to talk about your journey, getting to that point, how you move around in that area, and then the future of where you see yourself going and your business is going. That's kind of where we're gonna go with this conversation. But let's start early on. I'm already, like I said, I did some research, so I know you've done some years in college, the college grind.
Yes, sir.
I was talking to my sister. She was talking about getting on the podcast, but she don't want to talk about that. She was like, I don't want to talk about college. I don't want to talk about it.
I'm tired.
I'm tired of it.
No, I'm a little removed, so I can go back there mentally. Yeah.
Well, let's start there in terms of trying to find your way and how you fell into entrepreneurship on the early side, and then we'll go from there.
Cool. So I went to Penn. I didn't plan this, but I went to the University of Pennsylvania. I had the opportunity in high school. I went to a private high school. Are y'all familiar with HB Hathaway Brown?
I've heard of it. Yeah,
Okay.
I've heard of it.
I'm not. No.
Okay, got you. It's in Shaker Heights. And that was like my first exposure of like what privilege really means. So I'm like, for real, like from Cleveland Heights, family's very middle class. But a lot of the people I went with were very, very wealthy. And a lot of them were not black. But I remember when I was in high school, they were like, Camille, you can like apply to some Ivy League schools. And I'm like, me? What? Like I didn't even, like that wasn't even a thought in my mind. And at this point in time, like I'm not even thinking about entrepreneurship. Like I went to a prep high school, and your life's goal was to like go to college, go to an elite college, and like go
jump right into a career of some sort.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So when I was in undergrad, so I went to Penn. It's an Ivy League school, very, very tough school to get into, and I just, for whatever reason, thought I wanted to be a doctor. Like I think I thought that that's what my parents wanted me to do. I don't know,
Like, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is the
what I'm
next
supposed
step.
to do. Exactly. Yeah. So I was pre-med. I was taking all these ridiculous classes. I mean, it was really tough, sincerely tough. I fell into anthropology as my major. So I studied medical anthropology specifically. Like I was not digging up bones. Like people really be thinking like, what is that? But it gave me my first glimpse into, what I'm actually passionate about. And like I focused on disparities in health. But I also, again, still didn't, really understand what I wanted to do. And so what do grad students do or what do students do that study, you know, anthropology? They just go back to college. So I went to grad school with no game plan.
Yeah.
And when I was in grad,
you said I'm here.
I'm here. Like I don't know what else I'm gonna do.
I know how to do college. So
I know how to do school. Exactly. And I think during that period of time, you know, I didn't have like people like that I knew specifically that, you know, embraced their ideas and just did something that they wanted to do. Like I just was not exposed to that. I was exposed to you study, you get good grades, and you get a degree, and then you get a really, really good job. Like there was nothing else that, you know, kind of piqued kind of sparked my mind to think like I can take my own ideas seriously. But it was in grad school when I got the entrepreneurial itch, like for real. So I remember at this point in time I was studying healthcare policy and management, and I always had like all of these ideas that would come to me, and I literally, it was like my year in between like the first and second year of grad school. I came back to Cleveland for the summer, and I was sitting on like my little balcony porch at my parents' house, and I started writing down every idea that came to me, and I'm like, one of these ideas I'm gonna take seriously. Like, what is the worst that can happen about taking myself seriously? Like, it sounds so basic and so like dumb, but I had to have that real conversation with myself and be okay with the fact that if this has nothing to do with anything that I ever studied, that's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's like people get to that point where like we're talking about the plan, and they don't want to stray away from what the plan may be. And then I think like this, that, okay, if I take a bet on myself or whatnot and it doesn't work out, am I going to be a failure or something like that? It's okay to fail at something. You just keep on moving, right? But that's a very scary thing in people's head.
It is.
Do you roughly remember how many ideas were on that list? I'm just curious.
Oh, yeah. There was definitely some stuff on there that I think other people have done since that time. But I want to say there were like 6 or 7 of them. One was like my co-founder and FELOH, Jacqueline. Like we were thinking about this like way back in undergrad, but we were like, there needs to be some kind of heel that is retractable. So when you're like going out, you can
turn into a flat.
It turns into a flat. Weak. Like, yes, we were like, there has to be a way to make this happen.
Trying to solve problems.
Exactly. Okay.
Said I'm leaving the club.
Like,
Retract.
Press that button, like, you got a little transformer in your foot, like, you're like,
go and walk on the dentist.
Right. Exactly, yes.
That's a crazy. Now, did you ever see anybody that did that?
There is definitely something out there that does that now.
A retractable heel? That's crazy.
Yeah, there's some that you can take off. There's some that, like the material, like, shift shapes. I don't know. There's just a whole bunch of stuff out there now. I mean, you know, y'all had that one, but, you know, we had the idea first.
That's right.
But, yeah, like, from that list, I was like, okay, if I'm going to pursue something, I have to be super passionate about it. I have to be integrated into that space in some kind of way. And it kept coming back to this idea of creating a new space and way for people to experience beauty. And I'm like, I think that's the one to like uncover and pursue. But it was still a long journey from that point in time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's
a crazy journey, you know, going into college, not thinking anything about entrepreneurship. You know, sometimes you hear the story of, I was kind of doing entrepreneur stuff by default in high school, and then I went to college and was doing some stuff, started a business, started another business, you know, but it seemed like yours kind of just was an apple that just fell from the tree and hit you on the head. And you're like, oh, maybe I need to be over here.
Yeah.
You know, but I like the simple thing you said where you just took the time to write black and white, write those ideas on paper, physically see it, you know, and go from there. I think that's a step that a lot of people don't do. You know, I try to always like physically writing something down.
Oh, yeah.
You know, not putting it in a book, not typing, not thinking about it. Oh, I thought about it all day. No, write it down.
And the stuff that comes out of your head when you're doing that, obviously that's the stuff that you're going to be more passionate about because that's the stuff that came to mind.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I really believe that writing is the first step of any type of manifestation. Like, you are literally taking something that like is just in thought form and you're putting it on something physical that you put down. And I think, it's like those little steps, and you keep doing those little steps, it starts to condense into something like tangible.
So how important, now that you've been on this entrepreneur journey, how important do you feel it is to be able to relate to the business that you're creating, right? Versus trying to come up and do a business that not saying you have to be knowledgeable of it, but that's like I'm not into cars, so it's like me trying to start a car business or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But you bring up beauty, and obviously, I'm sure you spend your mornings with the makeup and the hair and the this and that. So that's something that you already relate to. How important is that in entrepreneurship to really understand that connection?
Yeah, I mean, so I break down entrepreneurship into a couple of buckets. Like, anybody can sell anything. You know what I mean? Like, anybody can say, you know what, I want to make some money. Let me sell some t-shirts or whatever. I mean, and that's cool. Like, make your money. But when it comes to like disrupting an industry and like creating something that literally there is no pathway, you have to like lay the bricks yourself. You have to understand intimately that terrain because you're going to be the conduit to like feel out what's in the atmosphere and like bring it to life in this world. And so you have to be like really in tune with whatever it is that you're pursuing. And so for me, when it came to FELOH, and I mean, at that point in time, writing those things down on the list, FELOH didn't even have a name. But what I did know is that the beauty industry is dramatically changing. I was also going through my own natural hair journey. So here I am with like this kinky curly hair where there weren't that many products available. I did start seeing products being sold online. I also started seeing like the pre-phase of what influencers look like. And so how, YouTubers were democratizing how people found out about different products. And I'm over here like just trying to figure out, why is my hair so tangled under this YouTube, like video, like talking to people in the comments, like building community. And so it was like all of those layers of my own experience that like really opened my mind to see this industry is going to look so different. And back then, this was like 2014. Like, this was a while ago, now almost like 10 years ago,
Okay. Yeah.
And so like, after really, taking my part, or, having my own experiences informed, like, this idea that just kept coming to me in these different waves and phases, like I knew that there was something there. And again, I think, if you're just an entrepreneur, I mean, not air quotes, but if you're just trying to sell something, if you're just trying to make money, like, you don't have to be in tune so much, but if you're trying to create something that has never been created before, like, you gotta know.
You gotta be tapped in.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta know all those details, those nooks and crannies of the industry. Yeah. That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Because
sure.
I say that I ask that question because I think sometimes when people are looking for something to do on their own and create something, they almost think too hard. They almost think too far, where you had to scale back to something that you by default do every single day.
I mean, like, and it's an iterative process of scaling back. And I think that anyone that truly wants to, hop into entrepreneurship for whatever reason, you have to very intimately understand your personal why, because it ain't no joke. Like, I mean, there's going to be ups and downs and a whole lot of downs, but before there's a whole lot of ups, And so you got to know why you're doing it. And if it's solely for money, then I would press somebody to, like, what's that layer behind the money? Like, what can that money do for you? That's really your why.
So early on with going into FELOH, which is your business. You know, I definitely want you to explain more of what that actually is. But while you were creating this idea, now you wrote out your ideas, you started to zone in on one. When did it? Was it like a decision between I want to go down a product line? Because do you have an actual product now?
No.
Or product versus the tech.
Got you.
You know?
Yeah. So it was always a concept of how do we create a digital community and get that community in touch with people that are creating products, because we saw like early off the rise of the e-com boom. Like now, like literally everybody has a Shopify shop. Yeah. But you know, back then it was like these shops are coming out of nowhere. And we knew that if this is going to be a trend, there's going to be a point in time where like people aren't going to be, you know, shopping on 1,000 different websites.
Plateau
out. Yeah, exactly. Or it's gonna the market is gonna be so overly saturated that you're gonna have to stand out in a certain way. Yeah. And so, you know, we were like, there's plenty of people creating products. What if we just create this community, this ecosystem, and find ways to encourage them to explore new products, explore brands that they may not have heard of. Support brands that are owned by people that look like them, as opposed to, you know, some of the big guys that are out there that are at Walmart and Target and all that stuff. And so, yeah, it was always, you know, finding how can tech enable those connections. Right. Right. Yeah.
Once again, shout out to tech. Gotta love it.
Gotta love it.
Thank you, tech.
Thank you, tech. That's the world we live in right now, though. I mean, tech is literally a part of everything, you know. So finding ways to incorporate that in anything that you do is going to go a long way nowadays.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're in the app idea now, right? Mm-hmm. So did you take any coding classes?
Absolutely not. No. So, oh my goodness.
I'm sure that was a journey to try and just jump into that.
Yeah, right? Like so did you try to explore it and you're like, you know what? I'm not even about to spend my energy on this.
You know what? So I can say a couple things, and I know I'm a smart person, but when I tell you, I mean, you know, now like there are like low code, no code platforms. I mean, and they're good for certain things. But at that point in time, I did not know what I didn't know, and it hurt in a lot of ways. So myself,
like a roadblock in a way.
I'm like a roadblock that speed bump. I don't know. It was definitely a detour up in there. Like it was a lot. So Jacqueline and I, my co-founder, we are non-technical founders, meaning that I'm like the visionary. Like I can see how all of these different things can come together and work cohesively. I mean, I'm like the Steve Jobs of FELOH. Like, I just see the vision. I am not the coder. Jacqueline is like the organizer, how to, put things in place to like make sure that we're going in the right direction and kind of give structure to my big vision. But we were like, okay, how are we going to get this thing developed? And so we went with our very first contractor, my very first time, paying anybody for doing anything. And mind you, like, this is out of our own pocket. Like, nobody was investing in, like, nothing.
And you out of college.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there's student debt. Like, I just got my first corporate job. And, in between the time of that list and at this point, that was like about like 3.5 years. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like we just jumped in and said double down on coding. Right. Like, no, like
it was 3 years from the idea to the point to even start the
yes. And so like what was happening in that point in time was research. Like our mentor, Mr. Barron, shout out to Mr. B, he said like the thing that you have the most right now is time in your brain. So like you don't have a lot of money. So you need to like do some research and really inform like how best to spend this money, because people ain't just cutting checks for like Black people, especially Black women. And so we did research, we did surveys, we really started to put context around what it was that we were creating. But even then still, we couldn't financially invest in the company until about 3 years after I saved up, from my job in corporate America to really pour into the company. And so at that point in time, we found a contractor. They were overseas. And again, being non-technical founders, we put a lot of faith and trust in like a team that we really didn't know. Like, just imagine y'all are like first time home buyers and you're like, I'm going to renovate this entire home. Like from like start, or no, not even like that. Like you're building an entire home and it's your first time dealing with all of these contractors that tell you, oh yeah, we can do that. We know how to do stonework. We know how to do electricity. And then you start paying these people and the timeline gets pushed back. Things aren't working right. You got water coming out of like, spigots and stuff. Like it was just like, whoa, like how do I like, so that again, that was like my first time really dealing like with project management. And so there was a lot in that point in time where it was very frustrating. It was very like, and then at that point in time too, I quit my full-time job. So I did that corporate job. I was in Tampa.
You said you was all in.
I said I was all in. I'm like, look, if I'm going to do this, I can't live two lives. Like, you know what I mean?
I got to give all my energy into one thing.
Yeah. And I really have to, like, if I'm all in this way, like, it just came to a point. I do think if I was any more comfortable at my corporate job, I would have stayed longer. But everything was pushing me up out of that job. And I think it was God just saying, like, look, you better bet on yourself. Yeah.
Do you, now, like, looking back on it, when you went through that first contractor, do you feel like that was something that was just pretty much a necessary experience?
You know what? Like, I do think it was a necessary experience. What I can say is, being a Black person, being a Black woman, being like in the space of startups and venture capital, when you have all of these under-resourced founders that are like on string budgets, doing it on their own, learning their own hard lessons, you breed a type of resiliency that you just don't get when you got money to just fail forward. Granted, I've seen a lot of companies, that get a lot of, funding off the gate, they can get further quicker, but the infrastructure that they had in place, or that one time something does go wrong, it's like, they kind of crumble. But I think for me, looking back at that experience, I learned so much. Like, fool me once, right. Shame on me, but fool me twice, we about to flip the table over. Like, no, but right. It was important.
So if you were to paint a picture for me, paint a picture of the state of Black women in tech in 2023. What does that look like right now?
Got you. So it looks a bit depressing. I will be straight up honest with you. So in 2020, when, the world was on fire, part one, and, there was all of the riots, all of this, emphasis on how do we make, Black people feel more seen and visible. You did see an influx in VC dollars going to Black startups. Very temporarily. But just to put it in context, I don't have the stats offhand with me, but less than 1% of all venture capital that happens in this economy goes to Black women.
That's not even in tech. That's just in general.
That's just in general. Like venture capital, like if this is from a VC firm, I'm not sure, but there's a lot of money that flows in and out of that sector of the private, sector of the economy. Less than 1% of it goes to Black women founders. And I want to say Black women founders or women of color founders are the most rapidly growing sector of tech founders. So, I mean, just put that in perspective. But I will say the overall venture capital market right now is just really bad. And it's really bad, like, if you think back to earlier this year, and then you had the collapsing of all these banks, and then the Web3 and, like, crypto. Like, everybody's scared. Now all the interest rates are all messed up. So right now there is much more emphasis on like withdrawing dollars from activating in the markets. There's also a concept now that venture capitalists are heavily looking at, okay, y'all making money or y'all just like, what y'all doing? And so a lot of these like founders that was just like, you know, they can't get away with it no more.
And that's what I was kind of like, it was turning my head, like a lot of probably like a lot of that pullback and everything like that. That apprehension is I need to see a vision that I can start making some money immediately on this. Like you might have a good idea, but how sustainable is it? How much is it going to start making money in the next year or 2 or 3 years? Right? I don't want to have to wait 8-10 years to make some money off of this, and that's probably where they're really focusing on now.
Yeah, they're definitely leaning into how are you. Like, what is the pathway for this company to exit? And people are, you know, 5 years ago, 7 years ago, you know, I mean, if you weren't like a black person, you could probably raise like $1 million. It's still difficult, but you can raise a couple million to like get off of the ground without having any revenue, without having any customers, especially depending on if you're, you know, on the West Coast or something like that. But now it's not that same environment, and you also have to know or just, you know, kind of put in perspective, there has been like a mushroom of people just starting companies. So there's more companies, just like we just talked about with the beauty industry, and it's now everything is just getting oversaturated with just businesses in general. Yes It's a lot.
I don't know much about, like, I know what venture capitalist is, or, you know, I know what that is, right?
Yeah.
How would you suggest someone, if they're looking for funding, right, and maybe working a 9-to-5 and you know, funding it themselves isn't the option, or 100% the option, how would someone get into venture capitalist, you know, or trying to find funding that way?
Got you. So I also work as an entrepreneur in residence for a venture capital firm. So I had the opportunity to really understand how venture capital works from both sides, you know, as a founder, but then also like how VCs really, like, how they think.
Like their thought process.
Yes, right. Exactly.
Yep.
And so first and foremost, not every business is suited for venture capital. And there's certain economics around venture capital that a lot of us don't fully understand and realize. So, for example, like if you're thinking of Shark Tank, these are venture capitalists, but they're really angel investors. Like these are human beings that are saying, I'm investing in you. And so that's one thing. Right. But no matter if it's an angel or a venture capital, which is like a firm, like an institution that basically, like, for example, if I'm a venture capitalist, if Camille says I'm a venture capitalist, that doesn't really mean Camille has money. That means Camille raised money from all of these other people that have money. And then now it's my duty to manage their money and find these companies to invest in. But no matter if it's a venture capital or an angel investor, their one thing that they're going to want you to do is sell your company for a multiple of at least 10x. Like, that's the name of the game. And so, one, if you're not thinking about selling your company anytime soon, like, venture capital probably wouldn't be for you. But two, if your company is not able to grow at a certain bigness, then, and that's okay, but venture capital might not be for you. And just to kind of further break it down, like if there is a fund that, let's say a $20 million fund, their goal is to turn that $20 million into at least $200 million, at least. But really, like, they're trying to go for the B's, the billions. Yeah. And when they look at a certain portfolio, they're banking on one company to carry them from 20 million to, let's say, $2 billion. And so if your company doesn't have the infrastructure to be able to grow in that type of capacity, it inherently wouldn't be a fit for a venture capital portfolio, because the exit potential might only be so much. So like, let's think, you know, like you have that t-shirt company, which is cool, right? Your t-shirt company, you doing, you know, 7 million, 10 million a year. Even that is not palatable for a venture capital, but it's still good for you, you know, like grow that company.
So they're looking for, it's different from like a investor where it's like, okay, well, you know, I'm buying shares of your company because I believe that company is going to get big and I want a share of the profits, right? They're like, no, I'm going to give you this much money. You're going to build this up and then you're going to sell it and I'm going to get a big chunk of that that price, you know, what you sold it for.
Right. Exactly.
We're not in this for the long run. Per se.
Well, I would say you're in it for the long run to get to that point of exit, and then too for founders too. And so, like when you hear of a unicorn company, typically that's a company that grew to a certain capacity and they sold to the public market. So all of this is like private market. Like this is like what happens before it gets on, you know, the New York Stock Exchange and, you know, all of that. And then people, just the general public are buying shares. But yes, like investors, they want to invest in that long journey, but they want you to exit. And as a founder, you should want to exit too, because that's how you get your payoff.
Right.
Yeah.
I had one question too before we move forward, just because it just kind of popped up in terms of like, okay, maybe you're not trying to spend all your bread.
Yeah.
Maybe venture capitalists or like angel investing isn't really for you based on what you have. Is crowdfunding dead? How do you feel about like GoFundMe?
Got you. So
Kickstarter.
Yes, I think that. So there's a bunch of different ways to like get your business off of the ground with capital and strategy and whatnot, and so I can go over some of them. Crowdfunding is not dead. Okay, it's not dead, but it works best for certain types of businesses. I think specifically product-based businesses can do well because it's much more tangible. You can like hey, this is such a dope product. Like when it hits the market, you're gonna get one of the very first ones. Like, you know what I mean? So it makes it a little more palatable and relatable to like the everyday person. But just so people know, like we did a crowdfunding campaign and it was all right, but you have to market it. And it's not like you cannot bank on the platform promoting it out there to their community. You kind of have to, it's almost like an algorithm thing. Like, you know, you kind of have to make it go viral by doing certain techniques.
On their platform?
Yes.
Really?
And so I've learned about some of those techniques. I mean, I cannot guarantee anyone a successful campaign, but like I do know like some of the ways to get it going.
Can you, we'll move forward, but I do want to touch on this just because like I've had conversations with people, you know, and I ain't going to do that. I ain't going to ask nobody for no money, you know. But just talk just the emotional aspect of, I guess, putting your personal feelings aside and going forward with that if that's going to work, right? Because sometimes some people aren't getting funding because they can't even, like their pride won't allow them to put that project out there. They just feel like they're on the street peddling for money. That's how they feel sometimes with crowdfunding. You know, so how do you get over that?
Yeah, I mean, I think as, not even with crowdfunding, in general, like getting your business off of the ground can very much feel like you're begging, like, or like, please, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it is such a thing to shed that mentality, and it took me personally a minute to like let go of that, you know what I mean? But I would say, number one, if you have an idea that you're really passionate about to pursue, know that it is your right to advocate for it. Like that's like advocating for yourself, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like your child, exactly. And so, you know, I would say, one, think of it like that. Two, you know, like I'm a Scorpio, like I do not like asking nobody for nothing, and I feel real salty when I get rejected. Like, so but you have to really understand that a lot of this is not personal. Even if it feels personal, it really isn't. People are in their own worlds, doing their own things, having their own issues. I've dealt with, you know, feeling like that, like, you know, pitching investors, pitching at pitch competitions and getting feedback. I felt like that, you know, asking people to just buy from the FELOH marketplace. But I really had to get to a point where it's like the more I put myself out there, the more the right people that I'm supposed to meet, like kind of like what we were talking about before, like you start connecting with them. But you got to rip that Band-Aid off, and you're going to rip it off again and rip it off again until you like move past that layer of feeling, you know, like you not wanting to share what you're doing because it feels like you're a burden, or you feel like you're like I can't do it myself, but like I need, you know what I mean? Like you do move past it, but you have to be consistent in like sharing your message, sharing your journey, and just being proud about it, being confident in it.
Yeah. It change your mindset to look like, to not make yourself feel like you're begging, but you're selling. You're selling.
You're
yourself.
providing an opportunity.
Exactly. Yep. You're providing an opportunity. How is this? I'm talking, every time I talk to you, I'm trying to tell you about how working with me is going to benefit you.
Yes. And I think that's another layer too of, you know, just kind of relating it back, like creating a loop of like positive feedback. Like if I'm doing this and you're already doing this, like we can do these things together. You know what I mean? And it's just, you know, like I wouldn't even say selling. It's more of like building fans, building allies that like either want to support you or like see mutual like ways that, you know, you all can like move together.
That's good. I just feel like some people needed to hear that.
Well, I'm happy to share with the people.
I feel like some people, because it's very emotional. You know, it's very personal. You know, starting a business, starting a project, trying to bring an idea to life, especially like when you feel so close to it. You know, there's a lot of that holds people back getting to those steps they need to, because it is so personal. It is, you know, so meaningful to them. You know, sometimes that can hold them from opening up and asking, you know, opening up and telling, opening up and sharing, opening up and exposing, you know. I feel like there's some early entrepreneurs and creatives that just have to get over that hump, you know. Yes.
I mean, it's, you do, I know some people, they're afraid to share their ideas because they think somebody else is going to take it, or, you know, the fear of being judged. But I'm telling you, it's like when you put that one step forward, 10 come to you. You know, like when you signal to the world, like this is the direction that I want to go and I'm doubling down on it, it's like alignment starts to align. Yeah. But if you don't take that step, then you just gonna be looking around, why isn't nobody walking up to me, you know? And it doesn't work that way.
Yeah I like that. We're gonna switch up to one of our segments that we do called Top 3.
Oh snap.
Top 3. Yeah. And this is a good way to you know, kind of pivot from the more just like structured things, you know, kind of laid back, get a little insight into who you are, you know. So I like it. I'm gonna start it off. It's one of my favorite questions. I ask this question all the time.
Every single time. I already know what it's about to be.
Favorite movie, top 3.
Ooh, three movies?
Top 3 movies, yeah.
First one, probably, I mean, this is difficult, but I'm going to say Queen and Slim. That movie, have y'all seen that?
That was a good movie.
Is that with Keke Palmer? Wait, no. I have. Yes. I know.
Yes, you know what I'm talking about? It was shot in Cleveland, number 1. It came out on my birthday, number 2. But like it was just a very beautifully curated movie. Like Lena Waithe, like just the aesthetic, like it was just a beautiful movie. I cry every time. It's a good emotional release. It's blackness and black love. Like I just really like that movie.
And it was like one of the first ones in a long time where that twist at the end, I wasn't seeing. I didn't see it coming. Like I didn't see it coming. I'm like, for real, man. I'm like, man.
I know, like, even to this day. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm gonna watch that when I get home.
I might watch that tonight since you brought it up.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm still mad about that.
I know. I mean, I know. But like, think about it. They lived eternally, like forever. I mean, there's just a lot of layers in there. Next one, probably A Bronx Tale. Like, I like a good coming of age movie. There were a lot of layers in that too, just with, you know, I mean, it just, I don't know, it was just a good movie. There was a love story, there was a gangster story, there was a growing up story. I don't know. It was just good, all the way around.
Okay.
Last one.
This is always the hardest one.
I'm gonna just have to say what comes to mind, but there's probably a couple of them. But Set It Off. Like every time, I'm always gonna cry.
Let's go.
I know. I know. I like strong Black women leads, number one. Okay. But like, Set It Off is just like that. It's just a classic. Every time I watch that movie, I'm like ready to turn up. I'm ready to cry. I'm ready to laugh. Like, yeah. So.
I don't know if you listened to Offset, but his most recent album is inspired by Set It Off.
Oh, I need to listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, it has some good stuff on there too. But yeah, it was inspired.
Bone Thugs and Harmony with the theme song on there too.
Hey,
yes.
Cleveland all up in the house.
I love it.
What you got, Jay?
Okay. So I was gonna say, what are your top 3 artists that you're listening to right now?
That's good.
Ooh, okay. Okay, so one artist that I came across a couple years ago, his name is Teo. Are y'all familiar with Teo?
I think I've heard of Teo.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
Is it
Teo with the question marks. Okay. So Teo is a Colombian American artist, and his style is just so dope. Like, he infuses, the Spanish language and the just music and the vibe with just really dope hip hop. So there's been very few songs of his that I just absolutely won't met. Like, that is just like, he's really dope. Another one that I've been listening to more lately. Are y'all familiar with Any? She's she's like a British. She's a British. I believe she's British. I don't know. She's from the UK. Artist, and her style is so dope. Like, have y'all heard of Paying Black Girls? Okay. Well, that was the song that came out a couple years ago.
That's her song.
Paying Black Girls.
Paying Black Girls?
Paying, like Peng Black Girls.
Okay.
I had to Google what does that mean? But it just means like fleek or dope.
That's
yeah.
version over there.
Yes.
Okay.
And so I want to say she's a Nigerian British rapper, and she's just really dope. Like, her style is very smooth, very cool. I do like a lot of international artists. Let me think of one more that like.
Come on, what's on that playlist?
I know. Right. Okay. There's just so many. Y'all, this is tough.
The third one is always the hardest.
When you get put on the spot,
let me pull up my Spotify
pull a playlist up.
What have I been listening to? What have I recently?
It's almost that time of the year too when the Spotify dropped a little. This what you've been listening to all year.
I know. It be like mine be all over the place for real.
That's good.
Yeah, I would say okay, y'all. I hope y'all know. Y'all know Kip Stone?
Yes.
Yes.
Kip.
Yeah.
Kip be putting out like
Shout
some dope stuff.
Yeah.
Shout out Cleveland. Every time he has a new release, like, I have to check it out. Like, the lyrics.
Kip is dope.
Yep.
Yes. So yeah, he's definitely another one that is like on my rotation rather frequently.
That's good. I want to keep it kind of international.
Okay.
Because I was checking out the Instagram and I see you like airplanes. I see you like to travel. So
I've been doing a little traveling.
Now, I'm not going to ask you about your favorite places you've been. I want to see your top 3 places that are still on the list.
Still on the list. Mm-hmm. First and foremost, I have got to go to Thailand.
Okay.
I got to go to Thailand. Thai is my favorite food.
Okay.
I just feel like I want to, eat street food. I want to be at a Buddhist temple, like, vibing with some monks. Like, I want to be in, like, the jungle. Like, I just feel like Thailand would definitely be my vibe. So that's 1 on the list. Mm-hmm. 2 on the list, I'm going to say, right now, Japan. Specifically, if y'all follow me on Instagram, like, you will probably understand. I have an obsession with matcha. Okay. Have y'all ever had matcha?
No.
Okay.
That's not the milk based?
It is it can be a milk based tea, but matcha is a green tea, but you don't steep it like in a tea. It's not like in a tea bag. It's like ground up leaves, and you infuse those. Like, it's a very ground up fine powder.
Is it like similar to like Thai? What's it called? The chai tea.
Even with chai, you still steep it.
Okay.
Like, I'm kind of like a tea, like,
connoisseur.
just a little bit. But like,
all right.
But matcha comes from Japan, and I want to go to all the different matcha farms. I want to like taste all the different matchas.
Okay.
In their little district. So that's probably next. And then last, probably like I'm really big, I study anthropology, so I'm really big on like just ancient cultures and architecture and whatnot. So probably somewhere that has just really phenomenal ruins. I don't know where. I mean, right now I'm thinking like Machu Picchu in Peru or something like that, or
like
we'll just. Or Greece.
Greece.
Yeah, I definitely want to check out some really dope ruins.
Those are some, I would have never guessed any three of those. Yeah,
Okay. Yes.
You sound like you just need a whole little Asia tour. For
I
real.
do.
You just go hit some spots.
Yes.
Cleveland got some good tie. Where's the best tie in Cleveland? That's a side question.
First and foremost, high tide on Coventry, Cleveland Heights.
What are you talking about?
On Coventry.
But we're at on Coventry.
So talking... it's like as you go down the hill, like before you get to Mayfield. Before you get to Mayfield,
on the side
right
of like the corner store or the other side?
On the other side.
By the Hibachi's place?
Right there on the corner?
It's on the corner, like across from Phoenix Coffee.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So that spot has been there for a long time.
Not Fo and Rice.
No, not Fo, but Fo and Rice.
Is it across the street from Fo and Rice?
It's across the street
like
from Fo and Rice, and it's actually owned by the same people.
Really?
And I also like
Fo
and Rice.
Been in there, but that was a Thai restaurant.
It's a Thai. So during the pandemic, they just stopped serving food like in the area. Like you can only do takeout now, which I'm totally okay with. But let me tell you, like the mango curry. The pineapple fried rice. Oh my. Like, just phenomenal.
I'll be there tomorrow.
Yes. That order specifically.
I'm on my way. If y'all watching, I know you're not watching probably, but I'm on my way.
Tonight.
Tomorrow. Put an order in for tonight or tomorrow?
Yeah. I just want to make sure mine is ready.
Yes.
Would you, wait. Is it on you?
Yeah.
Back on you. Yeah.
Who are your top 3 most inspirational entrepreneurs?
Ooh.
That's good.
Okay. Ooh, this is good. So one person that I feel like I know I will make it, like, if I'm interviewed by her, it has to be Oprah. Like,
shout out.
I can't even lie. Like, Big O be holding it down for the.
She's been out here for a minute.
I mean, she's been out here for a minute.
Yeah.
She's really inspirational. Like, I appreciate what she has done with her platform over the years, and I mean, she make the money. She be making money, and she's one of the few Black American women that like know, like when you look at the list of billionaires, I mean, obviously very few of them are Black people, very few of them are Black Americans, and she is like one of 2 Black women Americans, so not like from Nigeria or like have family wealth. Yeah, so
there's only one other woman from America that's a billionaire, Black woman, or is she?
I believe it's Rihanna, but there might be somebody else. There might be somebody else, but I mean,
Rihanna definitely. Yeah, I forgot about her. Shout out.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and put Rihanna on the list.
right. Let's go.
Rihanna. A freaking boss. Like, I mean, when it comes to her aesthetic, her style, her, just. Like, she's just got the sauce. Like, I love her so much. And
drop another album, please. I know you doing a lot of stuff.
I heard she had like mad songs like saved up somewhere, but
she got songs.
And somebody said like, does she know she has those? And I'm like, I don't know.
She was there.
Yes.
So that was AI.
It was
Rihanna.
AI.
It was AI Rihanna.
AI Rihanna.
Yeah, that wasn't
her. No. But yeah, we can put Ree on the list. And then one more entrepreneur that has inspired me along my journey. Oh, this is definitely tough. I mean, I don't know. Like, I kind of don't even want to force it. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like those are like my two ones that, kind of fill me up.
Give somebody like the third person is like, they're not number 3, but let's just do like an honorable mention.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
You just throw out anybody that
you like. I just feel like, like I read their book or I did, you know what I mean? I came to a talk, but it's not like that, got me looped in like those two.
Yeah. Now, are you still tapped in with Oprah? I'm just curious. Like, what's Oprah? What's 2023 Oprah look like? Is she on TV heavy still? Is she just like running on her own social media?
So Oprah nowadays, I mean, she work when she want to. Like, she don't be. Yeah, and I'm not mad at it. So, so she doesn't have any regular shows. What I did appreciate about her, like in the, I would say in like the 2012 era, with her network, she had Super Soul Sundays where she brought in a bunch of different, not religious, but they could be religious, but just spiritual, thought leaders, and just had really great conversations with them. And that was a period of my life where I began to, expand my spirituality, and I fell in tune with that series. And so I don't think she's still doing that, but she is just interviewing people when she feel like,
that's what I noticed. Like, she's like, I'm not about to do this every day, but
no,
I'm gonna pop up. Though.
Exactly.
I'm gonna pop up.
Yes.
So I had a couple things that I wanted to ask you. This is a new segment, by the way, Justin. It's a verse called Verses.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you know what? That was kind of in my head. Like, right before we did top 3, I'm like, I want to do like this or that type of thing.
We see. That's why we work together. That's why.
I like the synergy.
Yeah. And we family in his blood too.
I love it.
I love it. Okay, so I got a few for you. I'm not gonna do all of these, but I got a few. I just want to hear what you say on it. Right.
Okay.
The first one is originality versus relevance.
Originality all day, every day. Double down.
Yeah.
The final answer.
That's it.
Be you. Be you. You know why?
But talk about relevance, because some people want to be them, but they feel like because of the internet, like they're searching for that relevance. Like, I have to be seen. I have to do whatever it takes to be.
So there was like this one quote from, it was on a Logic album. I forgot y'all listened to Logic? Mm-hmm. Okay. I forgot. It was like, I want to just like pull it up in my head and just play it for y'all.
But Tarantino? Like, Bobby Tarantino?
No, I think it was an album before that. But at the end, the last song on the album, there was like this guy, he was like thinker. He said, like, literally, whatever you could be into, there's somebody else in this world that would be into it too. Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, like, you could take that, as far to the extreme or just as far as to who you are. Mm-hmm. And I think, when people think of like finding being relevant or finding their niche, it's like, being who you are is going to, like, and sharing your authentic light is going to attract those that identify with that. And the more you try to, find relevance, the more you get away from potentially your authentic light. And that's when you out of alignment.
And I think people can, not think. I know people, you can feel that, right?
Yeah.
Like, even when you might meet somebody who's not really into what you're into and everything, but it could be like the farthest left, farthest right, all the way over here type thing. But it's like, I can tell this person is really just being them, though. And I actually like them more because of that, right?
Yeah.
They're not afraid to, like, not come in here and try to act like what they think I would like.
Yeah. No, I'm with it. Like, be a weirdo. Like, in your own right. Yeah. Like, I love it.
Okay. Risk taking versus strategic planning.
Ooh, this is okay.
That was deep.
Risk taking versus profound. Strategic planning. Mm-hmm. You really do have to have a balance of both, but you do, and there is a line between the two. But if I am going to step on one and only one, I'm going to say risk taking. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say risk taking because with strategic planning, you can literally plan all you want and shit will happen that just throws off the whole plans. I mean, it's just, I mean, it can always happen. Like, it can be a factor of, you know, something like so far be out of your control. But I do think when you're called or you feel like, you know, you can actually ask yourself, like, should I do this or should I do that? And if this is the risk in your body, if your heart like opens up to it, if your stomach is like calm with it, then take that risk. But if you automatically at the thought get anxiety, don't take that risk. Yeah.
Go ahead and plan it out, make it black and white. Yeah. Okay.
And if you're not willing to live with the consequences,
that's another thing too. Like, I'm not saying go rob a bank. Don't set it off on the people.
Don't set it off on.
I mean, if you ready to go to jail, I mean,
I don't know. That's on you.
That's on you. Okay, I gotta. Oh, this is a good one right here. This is a good one. Skincare routine versus makeup routine.
Ooh, skincare all day, every day.
Skincare.
I am a skincare. Like, I don't want to say like snob, but like I'm really into it. Like, if it's a new potion, technique, something, I'm gonna want to try it. So anything from like serums, like AHA, retinols, or you know, black don't crack, but like I drink collagen, like, you know, and all of these things. Yeah, so I'm definitely into healthy skincare routine, and it's like a form of self-care for me.
Right. Okay. Let me see if I got one more for you. Oh, yeah, this is a good one right here.
Okay. I'm nervous.
the way he said it.
I got two more for you, actually.
Okay.
I'm going to do this one first, though. Leadership versus collaboration. I'm sorry.
Okay, leadership, collaboration. I am going to say collaboration. I think collaboration creates certain opportunities that like a leader can't create. I mean, granted, within collaboration, somebody has to kind of be the one that steps up.
Right.
But when it comes to doing the impossible, you gotta collaborate. Like, or when it comes to, you know, creating something that never existed, you got to collaborate. Like, I think leadership on its own can like empower, but like the more different backgrounds and thoughts and perspectives you can get together to move forward with something, I think the more well-rounded and the more de-risk, you know, that whatever it is becomes, because you got different perspectives weighing in on it.
Yeah. Okay. And I got one more for you.
Okay.
Because I know you are you're a tech entrepreneur, but online community versus in-person community.
Ooh, this is so difficult. Like, yeah, like with FELOH and with Tastemakers. You know, well, specifically with FELOH, it really is like a digital meets in real life experience community. With Tastemakers, it's like in real life experiences that carry over into the digital. But if I had to give like my preferred, probably, this is so hard. It probably would be in real life community, because there's something very, I don't know, like the human to human connection. Like it's a little stickier when you like see somebody in person, and then you can carry that relationship, you know, online, elsewhere. But yeah, when it's just, you know, straight up online, and sometimes that's cool too. But I don't know. I do kind of like that. I am an introvert though, so I'd be outside. I know I'd be outside.
I was about to say, you could have fooled me because you be outside.
I know, but I also be very much inside, like on the weekends usually.
Yeah. But you know what the thing is about introverts and extroverts? It's like, it's not that you don't want to be outside, it's that your battery for wanting to be around people, it just takes longer to recharge.
It is, yes, do it right now. 100%.
Okay. I like that. I ain't never heard it put that way.
The more you know.
The more you know. It's just funny.
The more you know.
That's right. So we ain't gonna hold you all night, but this has been an amazing conversation.
It's been great.
And before we wrap up, I want you to plug everything that you need to plug. FELOH, Tastemaker,
oh my goodness,
Futureland, yourself, Camille, anything.
Okay. So the plugs right now. You can follow me on Instagram. That's usually my main platform. But Camille Genise on Instagram. I'm also on LinkedIn. So if you want to be a little more professional, just look me up, Camille Genise. I'm always here to assist, help, answer any questions about entrepreneurship, venture capital, all that good stuff. If you're into the beauty and the skin cares or the beard cares, whatever you need, definitely check out FELOH, FELOH. So the acronym is for Everyone's Love of Hair.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So FELOH on Instagram, we're FELOH app. The website, FELOH.com.
On the App Store, right?
Yes.
Android too?
Yes.
iPhone?
I have an Android and an iPhone, actually. So,
wow.
Look, I hold them both. Wow. We got them both. 2 phones out here.
You got 2?
Yeah. There we go.
One for the hair, one for the beard.
There we go. Yes. Next, if you are a creative entrepreneur, an artist, musician, whoever, like whatever, definitely give Tastemakers United a follow. So Tastemakers is a community of creatives, and we have dope events that when we partner with dope people,
they do.
Yeah, and it's always a good time and a good vibe, a good way to meet others, that are doing similar things, adjacent things, completely different things. But Tastemakers United is definitely the move. I do think we are very Northeast Ohio, Cleveland focused right now. I mean, that's hometown, but
right.
I can see us continuing to grow, maybe, outside of the state, soon-ish.
We might have to collaborate with you on that, because that's definitely our goal as StreamSpace. I mean, we actually had our first out-of-state live stream about a month ago. It was in Utah, actually.
What? Dope.
But
it was dope.
That's a huge step for I think creating a business. Is obviously you create the business in whatever state you're in, right?
Yeah.
But I think in terms of scaling, it has to come to a point to get out of your. It just has to. It just has to. Mm-hmm. But then one day there's going to be a StreamSpace Japan. There's going to be a
There's going
to be a Tastemaker Australia. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a StreamSpace Nigeria. It's going to be a Tastemaker Thailand.
Thailand.
Yes. You feel me?
Yes.
You feel me? But yeah. That's a beautiful thing. Got anything else you want to plug, Jay?
Well, you already know. Like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram at StreamSpace Official.
That's right.
Tell them what we got coming up soon.
What y'all got going on?
Shout out to Self Love Club. This hasn't fully officially dropped. I don't want to give too much info on it, but we do have an event that we're partnering with Self Love Club in November. So shout out that. We had an event that just passed, and I'm going to plug in anyway because there's going to be another one coming up with that eventually. Shout out to Mad Cool Game Night. Because we partner with them past couple months.
That is a vibe.
It's a vibe.
Yes.
If you're not hip to Mad Cool Game Night, tap in because it's a good time, And if you want to get that smoking Uno, you can get that.
Okay, I gotta come to the next
You get real
one.
serious on the Uno table.
Oh yeah, the Uno's get crazy.
I'm not mad at it.
But yeah, that's pretty much all we got. I mean, we got a whole month of shows coming up for November. So stay tuned. We got, I think, about 11 shows coming for November. That schedule is going to drop on the 1st. So yeah, other than that, man, I'm already in 2024.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie to you.
We're wrapping up this season.
Yeah, I'm already next year, man. But yeah, this has been an amazing talk.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, I knew when we at first officially met and just chatted, and I was like, yeah, we definitely got to get you on the podcast because you have a lot of insight. So definitely go follow Camille. I mean, she's always out here in the streets. She's out here in the city. You can catch her out here. But you definitely have a lot of great insight, a lot of great knowledge, and this has been an amazing conversation for the people, I'm sure, as well for myself. I'm not gonna hold you. Some of those questions was personal on the low.
Hey,
I just wanted to know.
I just want to know.
No, I'm happy to share. I'm happy, and this is so dope. I feel really good.
And how was the drink? Was the drink good?
The drink was not.
Yeah.
I put it down. Y'all had me talking so much. You can take one more
Don't
sip of
forget.
this.
We're being interviewed.
Very delicious. I like it.
That's good. Just to finish his, I'm still drinking mine. That's funny. Shout out to Camille Genise one more time. Go follow Tastemakers, FELOH, tap in. This is StreamSpace. Shout out to DJ Just Will. That's him over there. Sir. Shout out to Savage Royale. That's me. And other than that, we up out of here.
Have a good night.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Peace.